Hello everyone. How's your day? Oh, I hope you're doing great. Again, this is teacher Sheryl and I welcome you all to our English class today. Before we start, may I request everyone to mute on their audio as we go on in our prayer.
Our loving and generous God, we praise and thank you for the bountiful blessings you have given us. Thank you for giving us a mind that can know and a heart that can love. Thank you for giving us the chance to continue learning amidst the pandemic that had caused a lot of changes in our lives. We are sorry for the times we have failed you. We humbly ask for your forgiveness. Father, help us stay focused on our studies. When learning becomes difficult, grant us the gifts of courage and enthusiasm. Grant us the grace to use our knowledge in making a difference into the lives of the people around us. All this we pray in your mighty name. Amen.
I would like to remind you on our virtual classroom rules. First is I want you to mute on your audio except when I ask you to answer some questions. Second, I want you to raise your hand if you want to say something, okay? Please ask permission if you want to speak. I want one person talks at a time. Third, I want you to keep your video on until the end of our class. This is for your attendance purposes. Next, what else? We have number 4, avoid distracting backgrounds or actions. And lastly, I encourage everyone to use an appropriate response, an emoji. If you understand that you use an emoji for appropriate emoji for that. Okay, and I want to remind everyone to look decent every time that we have class. Today's youth and adults are more likely to face the challenges of interacting and working with people different from themselves. The ability to relate with all types of people is becoming a skill that is very important. Understanding, accepting, valuing from diverse backgrounds can help us thrive in this ever-changing society. Now, our lessons objective for today's will be, first we have it here. You will be able to determine the key message conveyed in material viewed. Second, note specific details of the text. And last one that is very important is to discover literature as a tool to assert one unique identity and understand other people. Cross-learning areas. First, the Filipinos were once ruled by foreign conquerors, and that is in history. Second, the Filipinos bend its way, just like the bamboo, where there are problems but still remain standing after, and that is in ESE. Our lesson for today is entitled as Pliant like a bamboo. Okay, like this. Now, this is written by Ismail Malari. He was actually one of the early Filipino writers in English. He is ranked as the leading literary and art critic in the Philippines. More than anything else, he was an easiest. Now, in our lesson for today, we are going to find out and to answer this following question. What does pliant mean? Okay? How does the bamboo show its pliancy? And can a person be plianted? And how? Okay, I have here a video clip. Okay, this is all about the pliant like a bamboo, and I want you to listen and analyze the video clip that I'm going to show you.
Pliant like the bamboo. There is a story in Philippine folklore about a mango tree and a bamboo tree. Not being able to agree as to which was strongest of the two, they called upon the wind to make the decision. The wind blew hardest. The mango tree stood fast. It would not yield. It knew it was strong and sturdy. It was too proud. It was too sure of itself. But finally, its root gave way and it tumbled down. The bamboo tree was wiser. It knew it was not as robust as the mango tree. And so every time the wind blew, it bent its head gracefully. It made loud protestations but let the wind have its way. When finally the wind got tired of blowing, the bamboo tree still stood in all its beauty and grace. The Filipino is like the bamboo tree. He knows that he is not strong enough to withstand the onslaught of superior forces, and so he yields. He bends his head gracefully with many loud protestations, and he has survived. The Spaniards came and dominated him for more than 300 years. And when the Spaniards left, the Filipinos still stood, only much richer in experience and culture. The Americans took place of the Spaniards. They used more subtle means of winning over the Filipinos to their mode of living and thinking. The Filipinos embraced the American way of life more readily than the Spaniards' vague promises hereafter. Then the Japanese came like a storm, like a plague of locusts, like a pestilence, rude, relentless, cruel. The Filipino learned to bow his head low, to cooperate with the Japanese in their holy mission of establishing the co-prosperity sphere. The Filipino had only hate and contempt for the Japanese, but he learned to smile sweetly at them and to thank them graciously for their benevolence and magnanimity. And now that the Americans have come back and driven away the Japanese, those Filipinos who profited most from cooperating with the Japanese have been loudest in their protestations of innocence. Everything is as if the Japanese had never been in the Philippines. For the Filipino would welcome any kind of life that the gods would offer him. That is why he is contented and happy and at peace. The sad plight of other people of the world is not his. To him, as to that ancient Oriental poet, the past is already a dream and tomorrow is only a vision. But today, well lived, makes every yesterday a dream of happiness, and tomorrow is a vision of hope. This may give you the idea that the Filipino is a philosopher. Well, he is. He has not evolved a body of philosophical doctrines, much less has he put them down into a book like Kant, for example, or Santayana or Confucius. But he does have a philosophical outlook on life. He has a saying that life is like a wheel. Sometimes it is up, sometimes it is down. The monsoon season comes, and he has to go undercover. But then the sun comes out again. The flowers bloom and the birds sing in the trees. You cut off the branches of a tree, and where the marks of the bolo are still upon it, it begins to shoot forth new branches, branches that are the promise of new color, new fragrance, and new life. Everywhere about him is the lessons in patience and forbearance that he does not have to learn with difficulty. For the Filipino lives in a country on which the gods lavished their gifts of plenty. He does not have to worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow will be only another day, no winter of discontent. If he loses his possessions, there is the land and there is the sea with all the riches that one can desire. There is plenty to spare for friends, for neighbors, and for everyone else. No wonder that the Filipino can afford to laugh, for the Filipino is endowed with saving grace of humor. This humor is earthly as befits one who has not indulged in deep contemplation, but it has enabled the Filipino to shrug his shoulders in times of adversity and to say to himself, "Bahala na." The Filipino has often been accused of being indolent and of lacking initiative, and he has answered back that no one can help being indolent and lacking in initiative who lives under the torrid sun which saps the vitality. This seeming lack of vitality is, however, only one of his means of survival. He does not allow the world to be too much with him. Like the bamboo tree, he lets the winds of chance and circumstance blow all about him, and he is unperturbed and serene. The Filipino, in fact, has a way of escaping from the rigorous problems of life. Most of his art is escapist in nature. His forefathers wallowed in the moro-moro, the awit, and the corrido. They loved to identify themselves as gallant knights battling for the favors of fair ladies or the possession of hallowed place. And now, he himself loves to be lost in the throes and modern romance and adventure. His gallantry towards women, especially comely women, is a manifestation of his romantic turn of mind. Consequently, in no other place in Orient are women so respected, so adulated, and so pampered. For his women have enabled the Filipinos to look upon the vicissitudes of fortune as the bamboo tree regards the angry blasts of the blustering wind. The Filipino is eminently suited to his romantic role. He is slender and wiry. He is nimble and graceful in his movements. His voice is soft, and he has the gift of language. In what other place in the world can you find a people who can carry on a fluent conversation in at least 3 languages? This gift is another means by which the Filipino has managed to survive. There is no insurmountable barrier between him and any of the people who have come to live with him, Spanish, American, and Japanese. The foreigners do not have to learn his language. He easily manages to master theirs. Verily, the Filipino is like the bamboo tree in its grace and its ability to adjust itself to the peculiar and inexplicable whims of fate. The bamboo tree is his expressive and symbolic national tree. It will have to be not the malave or the nara, but the bamboo.
I hope you liked our story. The story actually expresses a lesson about humility and resiliency. Even the slightest breeze, the bamboo tree sways gently with the wind. It is firm-rooted and does not break. Similarly, with Filipinos are known to be modest and versatile. We are pliant like bamboo tree. We did bend a little, but still, we keep moving forward and a little steps. Importantly, we continue despite the many uncertainties in life. Filipino deals with different types of people every day. We can adjust to changing situation, be it bad or good. Do you remember a long time ago when we conquered by superior countries? The Filipinos had been through a lot, but the Filipino nation endured them all. Undoubtedly, we know that we are not strong enough to fight back against stronger foes. We yield and have survived. We did not cover our faces of enemies. We are a brave nation. Having through a lot of hardships, we know that when we step back and rethink our nation. Now, Filipinos are very resilient people. We can recover from the challenges that come our way. Despite countless problems, we emerge victoriously. Unquestionably, the road to take was not easy. In the end, Filipino withstand it all because we choose to be optimistic and to stand our ground. We never give up easily. We remain standing just like the bamboo tree. Okay, that was actually the lesson of the main lesson. Okay, that we can get from the story of how we are being described like a bamboo tree. Okay. Okay, I guess you have learned them already. So now this time we are going to do a formative test, and that is entitled Locate, Reflect, and Evaluate. I want you to write in your paper through if the statement is true and false if the statement is false. Okay, let's get started. Number one, the Filipinos cannot be compared to anything, true or false. Second, the Filipinos bend and sway just like bamboo when there are problems but still remain standing after. Number three, the Filipinos are submissive but know when to act or fight. Number four, they never learn to fight for their freedom. And number five, they are dependent to other races. Again, number five, are Filipinos dependent to other races? True or false? Okay, for our differentiated activity, now again, this is just like with the other differentiated activity, wherein you can still submit or pass this activity until tonight, 12 midnight. Okay, now I will give you a copy of your rubrics through our group chat. Now, group 1 will be they are going to draw or create a symbol of themselves, okay, or yourself using a wire. Then explain why you choose that symbol. Example, using a wire, then you make a flower. Now explain why you use flower to symbolize yourself. Second, for group 2, you are going to write a poem describing yourself using your name as an acronym. Be ready to recite it next meeting. For group 3, you can write a song or a rap describing yourself and then present them into the class. Now, the same grouping as we had last meeting. Okay, that's all. Again, that's all for today, and I hope that you've learned a lot. Goodbye and see you next time.